Power to the people, okay? Welcome back to the Hoodoo Heritage Spiritual Collective. I am your High Priestess, Remedy, and we are about to tap into this message. I just wanted to, like, get these little downloads off real quick, and I didn't even write them down. I got that. It was this download that, this feeling that we're not even going to have to fight. And then secondly, preparing for our coronation. Spirit is saying just go straight to wearing the crown, okay? Like, you've been the warrior. Oh, praise to the Most High Power. We've been warred. Thank you to our ancestors. They already did the warring, okay? Spirit wants us to prepare to take our place, to sit on our throne, to wear our crown, and be real leaders, okay? And so that is what this message is going to be about today. And I'm really excited about that because I know that for me, I'll speak for myself, like there was a little bit of a fear feeling like if we have to go and fight for our land, if we have to go up against the white man one-on-one, that's going to be a whole lot of tragic bloodshed. Like, there's no way we're not going to lose some of our own. And secondly, first was fear of the fact that someone on our side is going to have to go. And then secondly was, and damn, I don't even want to do that. Like, I don't even want to slaughter a village. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even like that for real. You know what I'm saying? And, so these are real thoughts and feelings, as we know. One of the reasons why they're saying, oh, black people come outside. If black people come outside, that is when the real shit pops off. Do you understand that if black people come outside, it's going to be actual WAR? Like, it's going to be real BLOOD shed, okay? And that it's not going to stop because it's like if we take it there, we have to go all the way, okay? And all the way may include everybody, okay? Don't stop until you surrender energy. So let the black people stay inside. Leave us in there. let us chill and allow the Most High God to do it, because like, we don't want to see that. We don't want it to. One thing that I got from a Marcus Garvey group is, I want for you what I want for myself. And I think that even goes for the enemy. I want for you what I want for myself. I want you to have the things that you need and desire in your life. And I want that for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really no wishing bad on each other. Like, it's like, let me do me, you do you. And that's okay. But we know that that is not what we're dealing with. They would never let us just do us. One of the things that people were talking, white people don't acknowledge the fact that they are the children of their ancestors. You know how we sit here and we are venerating our ancestors, and we really can actually feel their pain when we talk about things that happened in the past. We can actually truly empathize with that, because we can feel it and we see ourselves as them. And I don't think that, I feel like white people choose not to look at themselves like that because it's not very becoming of them, but that doesn't mean that they're not them. So somebody had pointed out the fact that they, Light Blue says, sweetie, those are demons. Right. Okay. Yes. So I just wanted to talk about what I'm seeing is that they grew up, they created this country based off of overseeing and controlling black bodies. Like, they literally had to, their job would be to like, watch us, make sure we're working, just constantly monitoring what we're doing. You're like, oh, we got two talking, break it up, break it up. Oh, they drumming, break it up, break it up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this one can read, beat them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was their job. So when we see them around town and they're watching us and being like, are you sure you're supposed to park there? Are you sure you're supposed to be in this neighborhood? Are you sure you can pay to get in? You know what I'm saying? Like, when they do that today, that's the fact that they are their ancestors' children. Like, that's in their blood. Okay? Light Blue says, I've been where you are. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, but perhaps you're referring to me not wanting to slaughter people. Light Blue's like, I'm past that point. These are demons we're dealing with. Slam. Okay? And I get that. You know, like, I'm starting to see it even in the nicest of them. Even in the nicest of them. I was at work the other day and somebody said something about the whole Christopher Columbus / Indigenous Day, and it wasn't what they said, it was how they said it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the couple of people that like were in the conversation, it just let me know where they stand. You know what I'm saying? And so I just, you know, keep thoughts to myself, but peeped what I seen, you know, and keep it on moving, that even the nicest, sweetest, coolest ones underneath it all, they don't respect us. That's another thing, is that even when they're married or have children, they may like their person, but they don't respect blackness, being black in America and what that means and who we are. And so that's why when they get to arguing and try to throw facts at you and try to, like, you know, control your mind, you know, just exit the conversation, because they choose not to see things from our perspective. You know what I mean? And so no need to get ourselves upset, all riled up, trying to explain to somebody who desires to misunderstand you, you know? And so we just need to stay focused on preparing for our coronation, okay? Yeah, I put all my stuff away. Let's see. All praise to the Most High Power. We are grateful. Sacral energy with the yin. So using our imagination to create, okay? We want to get into our divine feminine energy when we think about like who we are, what we want to do, what we want it to look like. We really need to stay in that high vibrational energy where we're like really imagining the new world, because we're actually and literally calling that in. Okay, this is way too many that flipped. Cups sing in Capricorn. Be serious about how you express yourself, okay? So say what you mean what you say, but I feel like put some discipline behind your creativity, your creative expressions, as well as your talking points. So if you're going to be having these types of conversations, be prepared, okay? So prepare what your official statements, your mission statement, okay? Because remember, you are king, you are queen, and you're getting ready for your coronation. So when people say, king, queen, what is it that you bring to the kingdom, right? You want to know, you want to say exactly what you mean, you know? You want to know exactly your talking points. This is what I desire to experience, okay? We're building the foundation for this, that, and the other. So we want to make sure that we're getting really serious about who we are and what we stand for. I think that one thing that we can all refer back to when we talk about like, what is Black culture? We refer to the 5 principles of Hoodoo, which is believe in God, believe in our ancestors, believe in nature and the power of nature, doing our root work and using plant medicine, and loving ourselves and community, okay? So that is just the 5 principles summarized about who we are and who we have become, okay, as the foundational Black people of America, and foundational Indigenous people of America. Love conquers all, okay? All praise to the Most High Power. So bringing that vibration up. That's why they're like, just keep your crown on. Make sure you keep your back straight, shoulders back, you know what I'm saying? So that your crown doesn't slip, okay? And we're going to manifest this through the heart chakra. Okay, so light blue has overstepped their boundaries. They said, if you stop doing tarot, you will see what I'm talking about. Demons hate when you stop working for them. I say this to you as a warning, not to harm you. Believe in Jehovah God through Jesus Christ. And honey, I've been where you are, okay? And I'm past that, all right? Tarot is just a tool that I use to read energy, okay? I can do it without it or with it. As you can see, all these are channeled messages, and I connect directly to the Most High God. No intercession, no interceder needed. Although, but I respect it though, because if you're connecting with source energy through Jesus Christ, go for it. I believe that God has been connecting with us through Jesus Christ as we've been here in our captivity. But Jesus means Hail Zeus. Okay? Jesus means Hail Zeus. Hey Zeus. There's a reason why there's a zillion Mexicans named Jesus, okay? If it was truly a sacred name, they would not be using it like that. Okay, if anything, we can call him Yeshua and we can venerate him as our ancestor. Yeshua HaMashiach, throat chakra. Always speak your truth though. So, and truths change, okay? Truths change. Because your perception changes, then, you know, so does your ideology. But never be afraid to speak what you think. So I do appreciate you commenting. And this is not even tarot. This is a deck that I wrote, an oracle deck that I wrote. So, yeah. The ancestors. Okay? The ancestors are handling our business. Okay? There's so much that we can learn from their experience. I feel like I had another earlier today. It'll come to me. There was something about the ancestors specifically that I had come to me earlier. Read our root chakra and our gifts. Okay, so our root chakra is our bloodline. We got gifts from the bloodline. Okay, things that have been passed down. Unfortunately, a lot of times our ancestors weren't able to activate their gifts because they were under so much pressure, as well as fed lies about their own spirituality. It was demonized. Oh, you're using cards. Oh, you're using runes. Oh, you're reading tea leaves. Oh, you're listening to the wind. Oh, you hear your intuition. And then they beat that out of us, right? And so a lot of our ancestors didn't even get to activate and use their gifts, okay? And when they were gifted, they were often punished for them. Even in our modern ancestors were often punished for having thinking differently than others, right? But now we're free, okay? And I feel like all those gifts that went unused, they just continued on down the bloodline. So that's why we're super gifted. Flowers, continue to give your ancestors flowers, and you're about to bloom, okay? We are about to bloom. Like I was just saying, is that like a lot of the gifts of our ancestors, we never got to stand up straight, speak our truth, and be who we really are. But now we can, okay? Pisces, that's back to your imagination. Okay, so your imagination, and ooh, okay, so Spirit is telling me like just the fact that you can dream bigger, okay, is a gift in itself. Even just that is more than what our ancestors were able to experience. Being able to see ourselves in a higher place. We have not been able to fully free ourselves. It's because our vibration as a collective, right? Our vibration was so low as a collective because of what all we've endured. And I want to say because of the church, keeping us on a low vibration, keeping us only physical, not allowing us to tap into the physical. or into the spiritual, we capped ourselves off at what was possible. Okay, we capped ourselves off at like, well, maybe I could be the president, or maybe I could be in Congress, or maybe I could make $1 million. That's actually a cap. What we really, the real dream is, I can be truly free. Okay, I can own land. I can eat organic foods. Okay, like now that the veil is lifted and we're not even looking at the world the same anymore, we can really manifest ourselves up out of here. Because before, it was like we were trying to manifest a way to navigate in the current system. But now that the system is falling, and we can see that, and not just that it's falling, right? Because it does have stability to it. But now that we can see the system itself is corrupt. You know, I don't want to participate in capitalism. That's not even healthy. You know, that's not even a healthy way of life. So now we can think beyond that. Like, hold on. I want to make sure I can feed my family from the ground. I want to make sure that, you know, we can have real community. Then we just use our brains to call that in. Using our imagination to call that in. Yeah, more of the same energy coming through. Feeling good and using love, because the first card we got is love conquers all. Okay, so the more that we choose love, it's a strategy. They expect us to become angry, right? They expect us to become angry and upset by the pressure and oppression. But instead, we're transmuting in that, like, they don't want to love us. So you know what? We'll love each other. Nobody wants to support Black people. Black people will support each other. Okay? We're going to love our ancestors. We are going to appreciate our bloodline. We are going to acknowledge our gifts. We're going to give each other our flowers, okay? And we're going to imagine a better world. Okay? And then comes that shadow work energy. And what we have to work through is any blockages that come up. And so even the shadows that come up of, well, I got done dirty by a Black person. Well, nobody ever did nothing for me. Or there, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the shadow work is, or I'm truly afraid, or I don't feel confident, or, you know, I've seen too many horrible things, or I'm sick. Okay. I'm just trying to have some things that may come up to become blockages. We have to love ourselves through that as well. And even when we're dealing with each other, understand that we still have shadow energy to work through. And that's why it's so important for us to remain high vibrational. As much as it's important for me to speak my truth, it's also important for me to be able to allow others to speak their truth. And love them regardless if we have the same doctrine. Because one thing that I've been saying is, like, we are united in Hoodoo. We are united by our ancestors. We are united by our shared experience of being Black in America and being ancestors of the enslaved people in America. Being the descendants of enslaved people in America. That is what we're united in. Our spiritual doctrine, it's okay for you to be on your journey. That does not change the fact that we are united in the fact that we are the descendants of those who were enslaved here. Okay? And so if some people will be Muslim, some people will be Christian, some people will be free spirit, some people will be Hebrew Israelite. Okay? And none of that is inherently wrong, as long as you can practice love, because divine source energy is in everything. Divine is in every religion. Okay, if you're looking for love. Okay, that's how you can know, like, what is the fruit of the spirit? If the fruit of the spirit is love, then you know that you're connecting with divine source energy. Okay. Water, more of that cup energy, imagination. So it's also bringing me memory. So another water word is your memories. Okay. And maybe that's connected right here with the shadow. I don't know. I made this like diamond shape here with the cards just intuitively, and see how I'm seeing it. It's like, this is like this higher. I just want you to kind of be able to see. This is kind of like the top part of the pyramid, and this is almost like the reflection at the bottom. Okay. And so I'm seeing it like love, speak your truth, your answers, you're gifted. And then the reflection is memories. So we're transmuting this pain, this shadow energy, into love with our imagination. Virgo. That's earth energy. That's like my energy of like perfection though. Of like tinkering and making things nicer and better. It's also a key of like witchcraft or like manifest. Hoodoo for real. Virgo should be the hoodoo card. Yeah, it's like your witchery. So some type of water magic. I'm seeing where you can put you can label your water like love or whatever type of affirmation. You can speak to your water, you could sit your water out in the sun. Taking your baths. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing that able to transmute energy through water. Yeah, and the Cancer card is flipped up, so that's more water energy, okay? So nurturing yourself, loving yourself through this process, okay? So as we prepare for the coronation, okay, we are honestly just loving on ourselves and transmuting, a lot of transmuting the energy. So when something negative comes up, we can work that way, help to transmute it. Like if something, I'm trying to think of a quick example. One thing that I transmute all the time, I've been way more better as of lately. But the energy of anxiety. So the opposite of anxiety is excitement, right? So if something makes you feel nervous, like, oh, I have anxiety, I am anxious about these bills, right? Like, just keep it at that plain. I'm anxious about these bills. Well, to transmute that, I'm excited to see how I figure this out. I'm excited to see how God works this out for me. Okay, so that's the type of thing. I'm anxious about the way that America is moving right now. They seem like they're trying to take away all my rights. Transmute. I'm excited to see how God turns this all around for me. I'm excited to see how the ancestors work on my behalf. Okay. So whatever comes up in your shadow energy, you're going to want to transmute it in such a way as that. Gemini, more cards of communication. Gemini is also twin flame energy, masculine and feminine energy unite. Okay, that's more of that manifest. Okay, I heard tell it like it is. Energy. Yeah, controlling the energy, rewriting it, telling your story. With this memory energy here, telling your story, transmuting the memories. So what used to be like something that we were ashamed of. I know that growing up in school, learning about slavery in school felt embarrassing. Like, oh, you were just a slave. But now it actually gives me a sense of pride because I'm like, used to be, bitch. Who overcomes some shit like that and lives to tell a story? Okay, like, who overcomes some shit and even lives to tell a story like what we got? I'm proud as hell for all of my, what my ancestors came through. Okay, I used to feel like, gosh, they was just bowing down to the situation. But you want to know what I've been listening to lift my spirits? I've been listening to slave revolt stories, okay, and revolution speeches, baby. And that's when the ancestors said exactly what they felt and exactly what they thought. You know, now when I see somebody be like, oh, yes, master, like in a movie or, you know, whatever, I know that my ancestors did that so they could protect themselves, so that people wouldn't be suspicious of them, okay? And so they could get the things that they needed, okay? Yeah, master, I'm gonna go yeah, you said you wanted me to take the buckets outside. I got you on the buckets, right? Because they got a little scrap of bread in their pocket that they freaking finna take to the family or whatever. So yes, what used to make me feel ashamed, I actually feel very proud of how we actually maneuvered. You know, and something that we can also be proud of, especially compared to the rest of the fucking world. Okay, we have a nice big ass population of melanated beings here. And if you look in other countries, they have a much smaller population of melanated beings because they were overtaken by colonizers. So something that I realized is that when the white man came on boats, right, whether it was to America or to the islands and to South America, they were men. Catch my drift one time. Men showed up, right? So they didn't bring a bunch of girls with them and start trying to, you know, populate themselves. They brought a bunch of men here. And men made the Mexicans turn brown. Okay? What used to be woolly haired, brown skinned people are now light caramel, most and damn near white, is because the fathers of those people were colonizers mating with indigenous people. And same thing happened here, but not at the British were different. The British actually didn't, I feel like they had laws or it was frowned upon for them to mix with us like that. And, you know, what was meant for our bad, right? They wanted to keep us brown so they could keep us separated and they could know who was who, right? But that is actually for our good because now we are still fully melanated. We still have that Eve's gene real strong in our bloodline. And so what was meant for our bad to keep us separated, yada, yada, actually ended up being for our good. Okay. Fairies, this kind of that energy came through when I was reading that Virgo. So there is definitely some tinker. So Spirit is telling me don't forget about the elements, okay? So we all praises to the Most High God, right? And then we also venerate our ancestors because they lived and died so we could be here. But don't forget about the fairy kingdom and the nature spirits because they saw it too. They seen the white man come up here and overtake the people who did not attack them. Okay, we were willing to share space and even help. When we seen their ass didn't know how to fucking build shit or plant shit, we was like, hey, let me here's that's what the whole Thanksgiving thing is about, is how the natives came and were like, hey, I got some squash, I got this, that, and the other for you. You know, I know y'all need to eat. You know, and then it was a big fucking slaughter. and you know, that just is reminding me of, as nice as they be, right? Don't trust them. Okay? Don't trust them. If God puts it on your heart to do something on their behalf, help them out, you know, in the hard times, okay, but don't trust them, because they will betray you. Point blank period. They will betray you. Okay? And feel righteous in it. Pluto energy, there's going to be a transformation. Something is changing right now. All praises to the Most High Power. We are grateful. You are changing. Okay? You are changing. Okay? Your physical body, your outlook on life, your self-image, your life philosophy, your consciousness, opinions, awakening, self-awareness, arrival, expression, gateway, entry point. Okay? So you are transforming right before, in front of everyone. As a collective, we are transforming. You know, we used to have a different attitude about certain things. We used to not want to come together. We used to try to conform. Now we're actively saying, we don't even want to be like you. One thing that I have been correcting when I see it in the comments, every once in a while, a white person will be like, if somebody says, and I ain't doing it in the post, right? And they'll be like, ain't, right? And I will hop on that and be like, yes, it's called colloquial speech, okay? It is African-American vernacular English, a real thing. It's perfectly fine for us to play with the words, okay? And so we know, like, as before, it was more embarrassing. I knew I grew up in the era where it was like, speak proper English. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, now it's like, no thank you. No thanks. Actually, I know the word, but I choose not to use it. Okay? I choose to say it the way I like it. Okay? And that's just one thing that I know for me is changing, is that I no longer care to make these white people understand me. Okay? We are headed towards our destiny. Okay? So you are transforming into the person, this is as an individual, as in a collective, we are transforming into who we were always destined to become. So our generation was always destined to go through this transition, okay? We're about to fulfill prophecy. And it's a blue moon, all right? Which means that it's an auspicious time. This is that time. Like, no, it wasn't available last year. This energy that we're in, it wasn't available. You know, we couldn't have done this in 1999. Okay? We just couldn't have done this in 77. All right? It just wasn't possible in 44. You know what I mean? So, but today, in 2025, it's a blue moon coming across for all these transitions to happen as individuals and as a collective. And the beautiful thing about veneration of our ancestors is that, you know, our personalities that we have, it's like, we're like stacked on top of each other. Like, if you wanted to say, it's like, we got Cleopatra, King Tut, Mary Magdalene, all right, and Martin Luther King, all in the bloodline. You know, that's what makes one of us up, right? Got all of that. And another cool part is that, like, when we think about ancient ancestors, it's like, where there was one Cleopatra, just using her as an example, right? Where there was one Cleopatra, well, now there's millions, because that blood energy has spread. You know what I'm saying? Like, that bloodline has spread across and mixed differently. So it's like, there's a Cleo, and I don't know. I can't think of anybody. I don't know. Frankie Lyman is who it came to my mind. There's a Cleo Frankie Lyman mix, right? And a Cleo Malcolm X mix. You know what I'm saying? You see how this DNA thing can work? This ancestry thing works? Okay? Like, there's so many different combinations of us. Got these cards. We're not part of that deck, okay? Yeah, it's a revolution, baby, period. With 11th house energy, Aquarius energy coming through. Friendship, group activity, community, humanity, hope, tribe, festivals, discoveries, common goals, startups, rebellion, experimentation, and the future. Yeah, so us grouping together, that is all a part of the plan, okay? Our new community, the Black community is transforming. That is what this star energy right here is saying. It's a blue moon. It was unexpected. We couldn't have predicted it, okay? It only happened once in a lifetime type energy is what's occurring right now. So allow this to happen, okay? Allow this to, okay, happen. It says encourages, sees the potential in, clarifies, gives hope to, compensates, intuits, tempers, responds, cycles, grows, realizes, and rewards. I'm just reading that so you can see all the different perceptions that you can look at this, right? But basically, allow it to happen. It is happening, and we're encouraging each other and clarifying things that we weren't sure about through each other. I love how we're collectively using our intuition. Go us. Go us. Okay? 222 on the clock, by the way. And yeah, we're giving hope to each other. We're helping each other. Libra energy. This is telling me that it's happening right now in Libra season, okay? It says avoid making serious decisions and instead focus on creating harmony within your relationships. So yeah, like going back to the different religions and ideologies that the Black community has, instead of being like, no, we're indigenous to America. No, we're all from Egypt. No, we're whatever we want to call ourselves, right? Instead of like trying to debate ancient history that none of us were present for, at least not with this brain, right? We was here, all right, but just not in the same body, right? Instead of trying to debate ancient history, what we do know, what can we come together on? Focusing on what it is that we can come together on. We can unite in hoodoo. We can unite in, what's something that we all do? I don't know. The first thing that came to my mind is we can all unite, and if you see one Black person running, you should run too. You know, like we can unite in, like, don't put your purse on the floor. Okay, we can unite in, I don't know, things that Black people do, okay, for our time. And I think that, for the first time in my journey back to self, I really just feel super proud of who we are right now. You know, not even having to go back to, we are the chosen people of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is great. But you know what? I'm super, super excited about the fact that, you know, that I am the granddaughter of Verdia May. You know what I'm saying? And all that she went through so that I could have something. You know, when you think about the fact that we're only about 4 or 5 generations away from sharecropping, okay? You know, which makes what, 6 generations from actual enslavement? I only said sharecropping because I know that my great-grandmother was a sharecropper. So her mother had to have been a slave, okay? Well, it could go back further than that because my grandmother was 50, she was born in 54. So let's just say that my great-grandmother was born in 34. Okay, and let's say her grandmother was born in 10. So it can go back a few more generations than that to get back to actual enslavement. But regardless, my grandmother was born in Jim Crow. Okay, so, you know, and the fact that we were able to survive Jim Crow And shout out to us 80 babies who survived the crack epidemic, okay? Whether you were affected directly through your parents or just from having relatives or just having to live in this crazy ass world where everything is upside down because of the crack epidemic, we fucking made it. We made it. The fact that we have our minds intact and we're not just totally fucked up in the head. The fact that we could actually find our way back to source from being completely spiritually bamboozled. We should be proud of ourselves. Shout out, high five current generation. Okay, high five current generation for those of us who really broke the current curses that said, oh, you have to live like this. This is what the world is. You have to read the Bible. And then we kind of walked away from that. So we left the church, found new things, and are literally proclaiming ourselves as indigenous to America after being reclassified and told we were like, I was born the year they started calling Black people African Americans, which kind of lets you know that it's some bullshit. Okay? Like, I was born the year that they freaking changed that over. So, we can be proud of ourselves. Be proud of ourselves. I know that I was the only one. I was the first one for sure to come out of my family and stop being Christian. Okay? I was the first one in my family. Okay? And I'm sure a lot of you were first in your family to change your mindset as well. Dang, we've been on here 40 minutes. Moon in Cancer coming through. And I think I had seen Cancer earlier in this deck here. And so that's like, let's nurture this energy that we're in. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and end it. We're preparing for our coronation. Okay? And we just honestly need to focus on nurturing ourselves, giving ourselves love, and allowing these gifts to be activated. And something about kind of the way I have this set up here, it's like the more we give our flowers to our ancestors, the more we bloom, and it balances out our root chakra. The more that we say, good job, ancestors, we're healing our root chakra. We're actually healing our family bloodline when we say, we forgive you, ancestors, because it could be even our parents, right? The more we're able to forgive our own parents for what they couldn't do, right? They didn't do, whether it was love or money or whatever, it's healing and it's activating our gifts. It's healing the bloodline, and it's allowing us to see the beauty of who we are and what we were born to be. Because these gifts is giving me, it's already inside of us. It just needs to be activated, okay? And so using the power of our imagination to go back and look and see what happened to my mother and my father, or my grandparents, you know? It depends on what you want to heal that day, because sometimes we're healing ancient blood, sometimes we're healing recent ancestors, modern ancestors, right? And so the more we choose to forgive, Spirit is telling me forgive, and honor our ancestors and those who paved the way for us, it really changes our perception and raises our vibration. So whatever comes up with this shadow work energy, whatever comes up in the shadow work energy, raise the vibration of that thing through the heart chakra. Okay, so I'm going to end on this, and I don't know if this is the best way to end some shit, but I'm going to open this door of shadow work. Is one issue that I know a lot of, I'm going to speak for women, but I know that it also happens to men, right? Is being assaulted by our own family members, being sexually assaulted by our own family members. Okay? I'm trying to figure out how to transmute it. Well, the reason why I brought that up is something that came to my mind. I've been thinking, you know, indigenous cultures all were matriarchal. That's point being, period. It was a matriarchal system, okay? And I've been thinking, how did we get here? How did we end up in this patriarchal system? And what came to me between yesterday and today is the fact that what happened is that the older generation of men violated the younger generation of women. And that is how the balance happened. I don't know if there was like a war about it, or if it just happened gradually, okay? But that is how the balance got messed up. And I'm trying to figure out how to transmute that up. So we just need to look at that. You know, that's why it's so wrong to violate children. Okay, it really upset me. I think Somalia, okay? Somalia ruled, they made it so that girls couldn't get married till they're 18, and there was like a fucking riot, and to the point where they changed it back to where you can marry a 13-year-old. And these were Black Africans, you know what I'm saying? And that was just on my mind. I'm like, first of all, that's really, really sad how little respect they have for young girls, to the point that they would riot to keep child marriage. And so that is what put in my mind, like, child marriage, like, what's up with that? That's just really weird, you know? And it's because that is how men maintain control. When a girl becomes too intelligent, then she requires things, okay? And she can look you straight in your eyes and say, no, or I don't think so, or you're not right about that, okay? And men simply did not like that challenge, okay? And so the younger they are, the more they just do what you say. And that's how they prefer us even today. They like us nice and dumb, young and dumb. And so that is a cycle that definitely needs to be broken within our community, and respecting the wisdom of the woman, okay? So that is how we can transmute that today, is ladies understanding that a man being, you know, if you're a young lady, an older man coming towards you is not love, it's lust, okay? And it's because he feels like he can control you. And that men understand that, allow these girls to grow up so they can actually give you something, actually offer you. Stop fearing the intuition and the great power of a woman. You know, don't fear the power of a woman, embrace it. Okay, so that's just a little bit how we can transmute and start raising that vibration of the sexual assault that goes on in our community. Because if we would just respect each other, okay, we just respect each other. And honestly, I think it comes down to the masculine energy respecting the power of the woman. Because another thing I have to say is how I know this about controller, that it was a cultural thing. Back in the day, and I guess this is the white man who would do this. I don't know if they were doing this in other countries or not, but they would perform a lobotomy on the women. Hey, Maddie. Yes, I do remember you. I do. But yeah, they would perform, if your daughter or wife was too headstrong, they would literally send you to the hospital and have a lobotomy performed on her, so that she became like a Stepford wife. Okay. And so that just lets you know just how much the power of a woman is feared in our society, in a patriarchal society. So I don't know what we would call a more equal, balanced society. I don't know, like, the title that we would give it, but we do need to balance that out, okay? right now, yeah, masculine energy fears feminine energy. And letting go of that fear is what balances out the power struggle between us. All right, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Sorry for the run on. Like, share to your favorite Black person. Okay, peace. And leave me a comment so we can discuss this.